This tub is kind of an alabaster color, and I want to change the color, so I'm going to resurface it. So you're going to need these items: a respiratory mask, they're $30, porcelain chip fix because you're going to have some chips, vice grips with a straight blade, razor blade to get the caulking off, a putty knife. I'm using a new paint called Appliance Epoxy. It's an epoxy paint. These are $4 a piece, $3.97. Opposed to buying a resurfacing kit, which is an epoxy paint as well, but you only get 2 cans for $50. 3 cans of primer and a can of acetone paint. The respiratory mask, you're going to need it because there's not a lot of ventilation, and you're using acetone, sanding plus painting. You'll get very sick if you don't have it. Altogether, it's $60. But if you already have the mask, that's half the price. So for $30, we're resurfacing the tub, and it's going to be a lot better than just the $49 kit. Okay, so I've got a little putty knife. I'm using the putty knife to clean off all the extra caulking material and just kind of smooth out the edges. And then some vice grips and a straight blade. Then once you get all that material off, you vacuum it. And then you got a little electric palm sander here. And I'm using 220 grit and sandpaper. So the secret here is really you want to use like 220 grit, 150. You want to make tiny little scratches everywhere, abrasions everywhere, because when you paint it, the paint will fill into those small scratches and stick and not scratch off the walls. I'm going to do a little rough sanding. We're going to finish the surface, but right here there's a crack in the plastic or the fiberglass. So we will just get some Bondo or a fiberglass mesh repair kit, and we'll fill all these little crevices up so that it's all smooth and looks clean and ready. Alright, so I've sanded everything. I've used the shower to wet it all down. Now you take a grout sponge and you clean the walls of dust. You need to get all the soap scum and residue off. You know, after you've got it all sanded to where it's pretty smooth, you know, you're not going to be perfect because there's gouges, right? And the gouges, we need to get some putty and fill, which we will. But right now we're going to clean everything, get all the soap scum off, use acetone again to take the acetone will take the glossy finish off and make it even a little rougher. Alright, I'm using acetone and a rag. I'm just going to pour the acetone onto the rag. And then wipe everything down. And you can see the acetone gets all that stuff that you can't get from sanding. And it's going to dull the finish, and that's exactly what you want to do. This is a fiberglass tub, so it's just like a fiberglass boat. It's the same prep work as a car. And once we get everything clean, then we will paint it. Okay, once you've got the tub prepped, it's time to paint. Now I'm going to tell you, you should get a painter's mask, because the chemicals of the acetone and the paint and the sanding, it's going to make you very sick. So get a good painter's mask, not just the little cloth material, but like the ones with the respirators in it. Alright, so primer. So here's my wall, and you want to stay about 18 inches from the wall till you find your ideal coverage, and then just spray. And don't worry about getting it all in one coat, because you're going to have several coats. Just so you can see what I look like, I kind of look and sound like Darth Vader. But trust me, I was doing this without the mask, and it kind of made me sick. So it's worth the $30 to get the mask. So you get your tub primed. Then you're going to take a terry cloth and kind of just go over it all. Knock it down a little bit, smooth it out. And you're getting the surface ready to paint. And then when you go to wipe stuff down, you see these areas? That tells me the paint won't stick there. That I didn't sand it enough. It's way too smooth. And then I have an area over here that still has some caulking in it. So everything else, good. But you see these areas here? That's what you're priming for. One, you're laying a surface that the paint will stick to really good. And two, you go to wipe. And this is what we all worry about when we resurface a tub is, oh, you know, are we going to paint it and this is going to come out? But then once you go to wipe down, you'll see the areas that still need work before you even begin to paint. And if you've noticed, I've kind of left the tub basin for last, the actual tub part, because you need to be in here standing and stuff. So once you've got everything else done and prepped, down to about this line here, then you do the tub last. I didn't patch any of my holes yet. I've been painting them. And then I'll go get my patch and I'll patch it. And then paint over it before my final coat. Okay, so we've primered everything. And it is so important, the primer, because the primer is going to let you know where you missed your sanding. And you're going to notice little areas like this where all the primer just wipes right off. And here too. Well, if your primer's wiping off, so will your paint. So that tells me I didn't use enough acetone and I didn't sand that area enough. Okay, chip this. Take the cap, pop the hole, get some white gooey stuff, squeeze it in the hole. Recap. I'm going to use the bottom. Smooth it out. And now I'll show you. There's There's the hole. All filled. Smooth it out. Add a little bit more, and it should be totally filled. So save yourself some cleaning. Put down plastic, get all your tools out, because they'll be covered. I'm going to be cleaning this stuff for days. What's funny is the medicine cabinet has nothing on it. It's as clean as can be. Okay, so I've wrapped the bathroom in plastic, just simply went along the walls, and everything is covered now because I don't want to have to clean. It took me about, I don't know, 5 minutes. It's really worth the time just to tape everything off, because it's going to take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to clean it. All the overspray, and it's just a real pain. Don't make the mistakes I make. Okay, so let me get in gear. Okay. I know some of you think I'm joking. I'm not joking. Seriously. $9. The gloves are $7. $30 for the mask. $2 for the eye gear. $2 for the footsies. You're literally going to be in a cloud of paint. I suggest you get dressed up like this. Okay, so right now I just have some soapy water and a very clean, unused terry cloth shop rag. And these have a little texture to it. You know, they're like a fine grade sandpaper. And we're just going to hit the surfaces. And by doing this, we're actually sanding a little bit of the paint. Because what's happening is there's a little sand dust or spray dust on the paint. And the towel is picking it up and using it as a micro abrasion sandpaper. And this will take any tiger stripes or any overspray or rough sprays that you have. You don't really need to wet sand the top. And you're going to do the whole shower like this. You need to clean off the dust. And you're going to see the paint move a little bit into here. And it's important to say that the paint's only 12 hours dry. So it's not completely cured yet. And I'm doing that on purpose. I want to move this paint around before it's completely cured, smoothing down all the rough spots. And when you're wiping, you're going to feel rough spots. Keep working them until they're smooth. See, there's little bumps there. The towel, you can take it down, and you just take your finger and really work it. And it'll act just like sandpaper. It'll get it out. But keep in mind, you don't want to sand too much of the paint off. This is really just about taking the little rough spots off. And you'll feel them. You'll feel them when you start sanding. Also, I would throw a towel down into the floor to step on. That way you're not stepping on the new paint before you sealed it. And you just, let me see if I can find a rough spot. You hear that? That's a rough spot. So you just keep working it. And it'll smooth out. All right. So you wipe it down, you use soap and water. The soap changes the tension of the water. It also helps clean and knock off all the top spray. And then we're going to let this dry for a few hours. Okay, so we're still working on the tub. I'm going to change out the valve and the sprocket. I bought a Delta shower kit, and I have to tell you, I like Delta. I like Delta mainly for one reason. They use the same valve, the same rough end valve for all their cartridges. So if you want to change your trim kit to a different trim kit, you just simply change the valve. You don't have to change the rough end. It's all the same valve. So that's why I like Delta. I got this at Home Depot. It was on clearance. You should always check their clearance section, because this was $250, marked down to $63. It's a PosiTemp. So it tells you the temperature of the water, so you can dial it in perfect every time. I have one in my other shower. I love it. Yeah. So I've just shut my water off. I'm going to pull the old Delta valve out. So this just unscrews. You can see the tub spout. This tub spout has the exact same, so hard doing this one-handed, exact same fitting, and it will just literally screw on there. See? Exact same fitting. I can just unpackage my tub spout and literally just screw it in. Ta-da! Okay, so there's a little set pin on the bottom of this. Almost all your shower valves have it. It's an Allen wrench. I'm not sure what the size is. I just found an Allen wrench that fit. Sorry. This is why I don't really do work while I'm on camera. So you unscrew the set. This piece should come right out. Alright, there's the beauty ring, the nozzle, and then we need a big wrench. Let me get the wrench. Now, if you ever wonder how to get this toilet drain out, there's a cute little DIY trick where you can take some needle nose pliers and some regular lock nut pliers, stick the needle nose down in here, and then use a little leverage, and the drain just spins right out. And then once you got it loose, it's just a matter of untwisting it. But basically what you do is you take these pliers, lock them around, and you have the leverage to move it. Or you can go to the local hardware store and buy the wrench that's made for it, but if you don't have to buy a tool, why do it? Okay, so now we're going to clean up all this old plumber's putty. I'm just using a rag. And I have a new drain. It's a pop-up drain, but it's got the little holes, and we're going to use the technique I used to get it out. Put the new one in. And just twist it in. And ta-da! All done. Okay, so this is the tub. And we're going to seal it, but it's not quite ready. The paint isn't cured. And the way that you know whether or not the paint is cured is basically if you still can smell it, it hasn't cured yet. That smell is the chemicals giving off, you know, they're binding still. So if you still smell that paint smell, it hasn't completely cured yet, and you shouldn't add clear coat to it until it's completely cured. Alright, so we finished the tub. We're at the very end. We have the fixtures in. All chrome fittings. The tub looks really nice, really smooth, but it won't stay this way unless you seal it. Because this is epoxy spray paint, it needs a clear coat. Some people use the clear coat in a can and spray it, but I found one, it's really hard to apply evenly in a can unless you've got a professional spray gun. Two, it also crinkles the paint, so it'll make your paint crinkle up, and it's just a nightmare. So there's a better way to do a clear coat. I'm going to use this product called Super Glaze. It's for what they use on bar tops. It's the clear acrylic they use on bar tops. If you're, or tabletops, if you've ever eaten at a restaurant where there's money embedded, this is the products that they use. So I'm going to use this to seal the paint. If you don't seal the paint, what's going to end up happening is, one, it's going to scratch, it's going to peel, it's going to come off, and you're going to see the undercoating that you have underneath, like this was an alabaster. But by sealing it, you will stop that. Now I have to tell you, this stuff is super slick. This is ultra glossy epoxy, but it's really just clear acrylic. It's not very hard to use. It doesn't smell really bad, so you don't need a gas mask. I'm just using a foam roller. I got this at Home Depot. I think it's like $7. And the way this stuff works is equal parts. You got part A, part B. You pour half part A, half part B, and you mix it. You mix it really well. This stuff's really popular in casting. If you're into hobbies and you want to make little plastic figurines, you oh wait, let me look at how much I got here. You can actually make a mold and make a little plastic figurine guy. Because when it dries, you can see down here, it dries. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And it's not a precision thing. You don't need measuring cups and all that. When it dries hard as plastic. Because it essentially is plastic. And by rolling the clear coat on, you have less chances of crinkling the paint and I don't really have anything to stir with, so I'm just going to use. So they say stir for 5-10 minutes. Make sure the tub is clean before you do this. And you don't have to be an expert at this. We're going to go over the tub. Look for any little things that might be in the tub. Shine in the tub, get in the tub. Look for anything that might be in the tub, because once you roll this, it will permanently be in the tub. So, just roll it on everywhere. I'm going to do all the walls and everything too in this clear acrylic. But what this will do is it will protect your paint. Yeah, see, I got some colorization here. It's in there now. But like I said, it's super slippery. So
Daddy?
yeah.
I'm watching you.
I see that. And you can roll this on super thick. You can pour it in. In my other tub, I actually did a pour. But in this tub, see, I got a little something in there. Where's my towel? Okay.
Daddy, I really love my tub.
Well, I hope you love your tub.
I do it.
No, Mommy, I got that.
How about I do that?
Yeah, sit back and get a wide angle of it. What? Yeah, I know I'm not done. Can you step back there?
Me?
No, Mommy. So if you do get something buried into here, you can always get it out later. You know, half of construction is just seeing it done and knowing how it's done. The other half is knowing how to fix it. So I have a little coloration here and here. You can use acetone to loosen this stuff up, sand out your imperfections, restain it or reseal it. You can do multiple coats and it's still going to dry crystal clear.
Daddy, I'm doing it too. I'm doing what Mama's doing.
I see that.
But it's not almost good. That's it.
I always have little helpers with me. But, okay, so I've done the bottom. And you can do several coats on the bottom if you want. You can pour the bottom, but I would just roll it because it's the easiest way I know how to apply this stuff really. So you might want to do a couple coats on the bottom.
Light went out.
And make sure you have no hair in here because you don't want hair to get set in here. Alright, so we're going to do the bottom. So we got to add some texture to the bottom. Again, you can get this, it's silica floor additive, non-skid. It's like $7 at Home Depot. So you just take little pinches of it and you spread the pinches over the bottom of the floor. And then what ends up happening is the silica hits this acrylic and it crinkles it. So you really don't need, you want to spray it evenly. And if you get really close, you can probably see it crinkling on the camera. Let's use this to see that glossy finish there. Look. Well, you may not be able to see it on the camera. But it starts to crinkle. And it starts to create a professional texture on the bottom of the floor, so you don't have to worry about slipping. And as this stuff dries, the silica will embed itself into the acrylic. And you'll have what feels like a factory-made texture on the floor. Be sure to get around your edges too, but really you're worried about the center. And if you have some discolorization, you can use a few pinches of the silica to try to hide it a little bit. But you're probably going to have to, if it's really discolored, you're probably going to have to just take some acetone and clean it off and reheat it. And I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but when you're doing it live, you'll see the texture start to happen right away. Are you paying attention? Yeah, if something's in your tub, you can pluck it out. But anyways, you'll see it. You just want to lay a nice coat of texture. If you get too much, it doesn't matter because the excess will wash off. And right now I'm just kind of using it to fade some imperfections that I have in the tub. And then after you've textured everything, you just roll the rest of the tub. You don't need texture. You're just going to seal it. And it doesn't really, you want to apply evenly. So try to remember where you brushed. Try not to get your brush in the texture. I applied the texture now because I'm doing a video. I'm not going to have you guys watch me roll the whole tub. But just roll your tub and you're adding a clear coat of plastic that will protect your resurface for years to come. And now you've seen a resurfaced tub. Thanks for watching. So here it is, all glazed and shiny. The finished product of the tub. Looks like a brand new tub. The clear coat gives it its shininess, and as you can see there's that texture on the bottom. So it's not slippery. It's what they do at the factory. And then the walls are a real shiny, glossy color. Just put the shower door in. And I'm done. And you could be done too.